Hello everybody, it's Josie here. I'm going to be doing another book haul of books that I have found in charity shops, secondhand shops, and I've bought secondhand online. So, as you may know, I love to recycle, reuse, and buy books secondhand. I think it's a great thing to do, and it's a great way of also kind of keeping costs down if that's what you're interested in. It's a great way of buying books that are a lot cheaper than buying them new, and it's kind of good for the environment as well because you're not always buying new books, and it's also a great way of getting rid of the ones that you don't want to read again. So I end up giving a lot of my books to charity shops, and I think it's quite good. You're helping the charities, and you're recycling and passing things on for somebody else to enjoy. So I'm going to take a drink. I've got a lot of books to get through, so here we go. So the first one, and this book is the only kind of non-queer book that I've got on the stack, and I'm actually going to be reading it in the month of July, because you may know that it's said in one of my previous videos, from the month of August, I am only going to be reading fiction that is essentially LGBTQIA plus fiction, so umbrellaing it under queer content fiction. So I've got to get to this one pretty much straight away. So this is the first one I've got here, and it's called A Head Full of Ghosts. Now, I have been wanting, by Paul Tremblay, I've been wanting to read this book for ages. One of my other passions that I love is I love kind of witches, vampires, and horror. And this one is kind of a horror book, and it's about a woman, and I think she hears voices, and her family has her exorcised. So there's an exorcism going on, and I've just read The Merciless 2, The Exorcism of Sophia Flores. My best friend's exorcism is my favorite Grady Hendrix book. I like all things kind of exorcism-y. So I definitely think that this is going to be right up my alley. I cannot wait to read this, and I found this for 99p in a charity shop. Amazing. Tick it off my list of things I wanted. Then the next book I've got here, and from then on, these are all queer content books. So this one over here is Hood by Emma Donoghue. I have read quite a few Emma Donoghue books. This is one I haven't read yet, one that I wanted to read, and I found it in the Amnesty International charity shop here in Brighton. I was incredibly pleased. It's originally from Gaze in the Word, because I can see the tag on the back, but I managed to get it for a lot less in the charity shop, and I am really looking forward to reading this one. Then the next one is this over here. It's called Mosh Pit by, I'm going to murder her name, no, Kristin Dunyan. This is, you can see this is an ex-library copy, and this is one I got online actually, from Amazon secondhand. This just sounds really fascinating. So what got me is this particular line on the back: an outcast queer girl's take on S. Hinton's The Outsiders. So The Outsiders, for those of you that don't know, is a book that is kind of widely regarded as the first kind of teen YA misfits kind of book, and it's about a group of boys. This one, so this is basically about a queer girl. This is about rebels, this is about punks, this is about the 90s feminist scene, I think. This is about, edgy, rebellious girls doing some wonderful, edgy, rebellious, punky, right girly kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to this very much because it warms my heart, because it's right up my alley. Then the next one, so the next three books actually, let me hold them up so you can see them there. Those are the three. So the first one, and I've already read this one, this is The Blue Place by Nicola Griffith. Then we've got, I'm doing this out of order. Then we've got Stay by Nicola Griffith. And then we've got Always by Nicola Griffith. You can see that's an ex-library copy as well. So these three books are a series of books. So Nicola Griffith is probably most known for her sci-fi books. So there's an SF Masterworks edition of Slow River, which is my favourite science fiction book, and also Ammonite is another one of her very famous sci-fi books, and I think that's kind of what she's most known for. But she's also written this great series of lesbian cop thriller kind of books. So these are called like the Ord Tovington trilogy. So Ord Tovington is the lead character in these books. So The Blue Place is the first one, and it is about, she used to be a cop, she's now kind of I don't really think she's a private investigator, certainly not in the first book, but she does like private security. And the first book is really interesting. It's kind of this blend of thriller, kind of slightly cop drama. You've got great lesbian romance and sex in this. And you also have a lot of kind of quite deep pondering of the self, which is quite cool. And some really beautiful writing, because what struck me when I read Slow River, and luckily that was one of the first sci-fi books that I ever read, and it, you know, it's hard to kind of match up to it because her writing is really beautiful, and she really kind of delves into character psyche and really makes them very human. And this first one, I think I said when I was talking about this in my wrap-up, it's just like unlike any other book like this I'd ever read. Like, I thought it was just going to be sort of a straight up kind of thriller cop drama, but it's not, and it has all these slightly deeper themes, and it was a 5-star read for me. I adored it, so I cannot wait to get to the other two. And it's really interesting because these covers do not match at all. I love this cover. This is just such a glorious cover. I can't say particularly like that one, except for the fact that it's purple. And I actually read on Nicola's website that she was talking about the fact that these are all published by different publishers, so she wasn't really happy with the fact that none of them match. And actually, she was planning to write more in the series, and she was hoping that if these would be reissued and maybe picked up by the same publisher, she would get around to writing a 4th and maybe even a 5th Ord Tovington book. And I highly support that. So, please. Then, the next book, speaking of purple and sci-fi, is this one here, The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is a very famous sci-fi novel, and it's basically, it kind of, I think it's an all, is it a female? Yeah, it challenges the human, okay. It challenges questions of human sexuality, sexism, and organization of society. And this is a planet or society where I believe you can switch sex, so people are not assigned or don't stay male, female. You can kind of switch between the sexes, and there's sort of sexual fluidity as far as I understand it, and the interphases of their sexuality. So it reminds me a little bit of oh god, my favorite book, Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet. The idea of some of those characters in that book can kind of they have, their sexuality changes as they have different phases within their lives, and I think this is kind of what this is as well, and it takes a look at that. This is an absolute classic. I have not read it yet. I'm planning on reading this actually during the Femme Fatale reading a readathon that Jean from Bookish Thoughts hosts. So I'm going to leave it for that, so that's sort of the end of August. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to this because I haven't read it yet, and I hear really good things about it, and I'm hoping it's going to be good. Then the next book, it's another cover I love. It's The Meaning of Birds by J. Robin Brown. This cover is so beautiful. Look at that cover. I just love it. And this author wrote Georgia Peaches and Other Forbidden Fruit, which I haven't read yet, which I want to read. I know a lot of people have, but I believe this is a YA romance, female romance, and I haven't really kind of read too much, but I just really love the cover. And oh, okay, so the main character, Jessica, her father dies, and she's kind of struggling and grappling with that, and then she meets this girl, Viv, who kind of seems to crash into her life and turn things upside down, and I believe this is about their relationship and what happens during that relationship. But yeah, it looks so beautiful, and just really just based on the cover, such a cover by, I love this. I had to buy it and read it, so I'll let you know more about the plot and my thoughts when I get around to it, which hopefully will be soon, but let's just appreciate this gorgeous cover. Then the next one, this was another lucky find in one of my local charity shops, which really, they seem to really just cater to my tastes. So I think the theme is purple in this book also. This one is called Beneath the Blonde by Stella Duffy. I have read a previous Stella Duffy book called Calendar Girls, and I think I included it in my sort of my 90s kind of lesfic like wrap-up or video that I did. And then I was, yeah, lucky enough to come across this one. So this one is, again, it focuses, I think, on the same main character, Saz Martin, who is like a private investigator, private detective, and she's kind of dealing with a mystery, and I believe beneath the blonde, it refers to a band, and the lead singer, it's a great picture, I'm just looking at it on screen, sorry, the lead singer of this band, I don't even know what she's done. So anyway, yeah, it focuses on the lead singer of this band, and there seems to be from London to New Zealand, and there seems to be a mystery, and yeah, you know, lesbian romance, musicians, singers, a bit of private investigating, a bit of country hopping. I'm there for it. Sounds good. And then the last book is, oh God, if you're screaming, maybe I need to put my hand over this. I probably do. You can probably imagine where my hand, or what my hand is covering. And that is the Penguin Book of Lesbian Short Stories. So this is a gorgeous hardcover version of this book, and it features many an author on the back, and you can see it was a gift aid in my local Oxfam. And this is really what it says on the tin. It is a book of lesbian short stories. So I am more than excited to get to this and kind of delve into some of these. Oh, this is beautiful. Sorry, I just realized there's pictures. It's kind of cool. Like, oh wow, that's beautiful. Dejana Barnes, Ladies' Almanac. Oh, I think this is kind of, yeah, sorry. Dejana is the author of Nightwood, which is one of the books that I still have on my TBR, but it's kind of a lesbian classic. So I love the fact that there's a book, but this one is done in the form of an almanac and this particular story, and that's gorgeous. Sorry, I hadn't seen that before. That's really cool. Everything else, it's only that story, I think. Yeah, everything else is just normal text, but yeah, I mean, what more can you say? They're lesbian short stories. I'll probably do a review just on this one. I'm enjoying looking at the cover. And then speaking of secondhand finds, I don't know if I've shown this one before in a kind of a secondhand video, but the top I'm wearing, this gorgeous, fantastic Led Zeppelin top, I found many years ago in a charity shop, picked up for a very small amount of money, but it's a gorgeous Led Zeppelin. And then this fantastic cross, I'll show you, is I picked up in a vintage store here in Brighton. It's very heavy, it's very cool, it's kind of gothy, I love it. It completes most of my goth outfits, and it's just, again, it was very cheap, but it is just really beautiful, and it's kind of vintage. So yeah, so that is my charity shop haul. Let me know what you've picked up in charity shops or secondhand. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think of it, and always any recommendations, let me know below, and I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye bye.